Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Melody Clark. I am trying to go live today in two different formats, so I'm hoping it's working. If you're joining me live, let me know. I am really excited about what I'm sharing with you today. So, my birthday's tomorrow. Today is the official last day of my 30s. I'm turning 40 tomorrow, and my birthday's on the 8th. So, to honor and celebrate my 40th year and the wisdom that I have collected over those 40 years, I'm sharing with you my top eight, since my birthday is on the 8th, my top eight lessons. It's like my greatest hits of lessons that I've learned as of late. So I'm really excited to bring this to you today. Okay, the first lesson that I want to share with you that I've definitely learned, by the way, all of these lessons have been learned the hard way, as the best lessons are. So the first lesson is actually a quote, and it's by Maya Angelou. And she says, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. And how I've come to learn this lesson is I tend to be a wide open heart, and I take a lot of people in. And I have always tried to live my life inclusively and embracing, other people's perspectives, embracing different lifestyles and choices, and just having wide open arms. But the problem is, for a long time, I didn't have appropriate boundaries. And so I took in a lot of people that weren't necessarily the best people for me to be aligning with in terms of partnerships, in friendships, in relationships. And when you don't have strong boundaries and you take in people that are not aligned with your values, you get burned, you get hurt, or you get mistreated. And so when people show you who they are, believe them. But she goes on to say the first time. So yes, we want to forgive and we want to overlook people's inappropriate behavior, but not at the sake of hurting ourselves. So believe them the first time and set up some really good boundaries between you and whatever's happening. That's my first lesson. The second lesson that I want to share with you is that healing is not a linear path. It's not a from point A to point B straight line. Healing takes twists and turns and switchbacks and ups and downs and one step forward, five steps back. And healing is a very individual path, and nobody can do it for you. It's a path that you have to walk on your own. People support you if you've got a good support system in place, but it's the healing process there are steps that you have to take on your own. It's, feeling down into the deep darkness of whatever it is. It is allowing yourself to brush up against those things that you need to heal in your life. And it's not a linear path, and no one can do it for you, and no one can force you into it either. The same is true that we can't force other people into their own healing. You've heard that you have to let people hit their rock bottom before they want to make a change. That's what this is speaking to. So healing is not a linear path. That's the second huge lesson that I've learned in the past 40 years of life. The third lesson that I've learned for myself is that being of service to others makes me feel at home in myself. When I am of service, like right now in this moment, I am lit up when I am serving other people. It brings me joy to be of service to others, to help others, to support others, to teach others. I know very deeply, concretely in the depths of my soul that I came here to be a teacher, to teach and to be of service. So when I am not of service to others, I know that I'm out of alignment. So being of service to others makes me feel at home in myself. That's the third lesson I wanted to share with you today. The fourth lesson is that, and I know so many of you can relate to this one, doing what's right is not always what's popular. Doing what's right is not always what is popular. But I urge you to stand your ground even when your ground is crumbling. And I urge you to share your voice even when it's being twisted up and used against you. Doing what's right is not always popular, and people might attack you for those choices, or people might criticize you for those choices, and people might disagree and tell you that you're wrong. But when you know in the core of yourself, in the heart, when you know it in the deep, dark recesses of your soul that what you're doing is the right thing, stick to it. Stick to your convictions and stick to your passions and do what you know to be right for yourself. And listen, what's right for you today could be very different 5 years from now. But you can only operate with what you know, the knowledge and the experience that you have right now in the moment. So doing what's right is not always popular. Do it anyway. I promise you won't regret that. Doing what's right is never a wrong decision. Okay, the fifth lesson that I want to share with you, and this is a big one. Speaking your truth takes courage. Speaking your truth takes courage, but what someone does with your truth is not up to you. Speaking your truth takes courage, but what someone does with your truth is not up to you. So when you finally muster up the courage to speak your truth to someone, you have to just let it go at that point, because you are not in control of how someone receives that truth. You're not in control of the behaviors or the actions that someone chooses to take with that truth. You can only be, in control of what's right here, of yourself. And as long as you are staying true to you, this kind of plays off of the other one, doing what's right. Stay true to your convictions. Stay true to your passions. Stay true to your values. Speak your truth always, because when you don't, it's going to eat up something inside of you. So speaking your truth takes courage. Find the courage to do that and then release it. Release the attachment to the outcome from speaking the truth, because we have no idea how people are going to take our truth. And sometimes the truth hurts, as that old saying goes, and people don't take it well. So that was my fifth lesson, big lesson. Speaking your truth takes courage, but what someone does with that truth is not up to you. Okay, the sixth huge lesson that I've learned is that if you are not giving of your overflow, you're depleting. If you're not giving of your overflow, you are depleting. And this was an analogy that was brought to me in 2012 when I was in yoga teacher training in Costa Rica. About this time in 2012, this time of year, my teacher said that we all know that analogy of the cup being half full, right? We think of the cup, the glass of water, it's half full, and there are different ways to look at that, right? Half full, half empty. But she said, look at your cup and imagine that cup being so full that it runs over. It's literally spilling over, it's overflowing. And how you fill that cup is the ways that you take care of yourself, the ways that you serve your own energy and your own spirit and your own soul. It's the things that you do to feel good, to fill yourself up. It's the self-care that you put into your life. It's the people that you interact with. It's all of the things that you put before you, what you watch, what you listen to, what you consume, what you eat, who you spend your time with, how you care for yourself. All of those things are what either fill you up or empty you out, right? I spoke last week about energetic boundaries. And so this is similar to that. We're filling up our energy with the things that we allow into our boundaries. So if you imagine that cup so full that it's running over, what runs over is your extra, and that's what you give away to your people. That extra is what you give to your work. That extra is what you give to your relationships and to your family. That extra is what allows you to run the errand that you really don't want to do, or to address some of those situations you really don't want to address. It's that overflow. And so if you're always filling yourself up so much that you're overflowing and you're always able to give from your overflow, you're never going to deplete yourself. Right? Because if you go back to the analogy, that visual of the cup, if you start giving from the cup, then you're depleting. So if you're not giving of your overflow, you're depleting. And I know you all know what that feels like. It's when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're anxious. It's when you are low energy, you're in a bad mood, you're grumpy. You know you need to do some things to fill yourself back up so that you can always be giving of your overflow. Okay, lesson number 7. Remember, I'm only giving you 8 lessons today because my birthday's on the 8th. So I'm honoring that number, that 8, which if you turn 8 on its side, it's infinity. So anyway, a little connection to my birth date. So lesson number 7, worry is a needless form of prayer. Worry is a needless form of prayer. So if you think about a prayer, You know, when you are asking for guidance, or you're asking for support, or you're asking for a particular thing to manifest in your life, and maybe prayer isn't your method, maybe it's meditation or wishing or hoping, whatever it is. You're asking for things by spending your time and spending your energy on those things. Your thoughts are an energetic form. So what we think tends to manifest. If we spend our time worrying about things, that's the same as praying, except you're praying for what you don't want. You see how that works? So where you spend your time thinking, hoping, wishing, dreaming, those are the things that you bring into the physical world with your thoughts, because your thoughts start to form, or they start to influence your actions, they start to influence your choices. Worry works the same, except it gives you the opposite of what you want. So the less you can worry about things, the better, because the truth is, we really don't have control over what's going to happen anyway. We really don't have any control over what's happening 5 minutes from now, 10 minutes from now, 30 minutes from now, a week from now, a year from now. You can make plans and hopes and dreams, but we don't really know. So worrying about something is a waste of your energy, and it can actually manifest the opposite of what you want. So do your best to give up the worry. Okay? That was tip number 7. And tip number 8, or lesson number 8, that I have learned in my 40 years is that light always prevails. Light always prevails. And what that means is, light for me is God, spirit. Light for me is the good in the world. And if I'm always staying connected to the light, if I'm reaching for the light and I'm standing in the light and I am moving and operating and speaking and living from a space of light, light always prevails. If I get stuck in the darkness, if I have ill intent, ill will towards someone, if I'm allowing myself to fall into the darkness, there will be consequences, right? So light always prevails. And that was tip number 8. So quick recap. Number 1, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And that's from the late and great Maya Angelou. Number 2, healing is not a linear path. Take it at your own pace, in your own way, with the twists and the turns and the switchbacks and the ups and downs. Stick with it and know that you're heading in the right direction on your own time. Number 3, being of service to others makes me feel at home in myself. When I'm able to help others, it makes me feel good. Number 4, doing what is right is not always popular. Do it anyway. And number 5, speaking your truth takes courage, but what someone does with that truth is not up to you. So you have to release and let it go. And then number 6, give of your overflow. If you're not giving of your overflow, you're depleting. Number 7, worry is a needless form of prayer. Give up the worry. It's a waste of your energy. And then my final lesson that I wanted to highlight for you today in honor of my birthday week, it's actually tomorrow, is that light always prevails. Stay in the light. And that's all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this live. I hope it served you. I hope it brought you some tips and help and lessons, and maybe confirm some things that you've experienced in your own life. And I go live every Tuesday. Join me here. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, Melody Clark. I can't wait to see you again soon. Take care, everybody.